Station.
Alright, we got about 20-ish viewers here, early newcomers, so I'm going to get started on a little demonstration. So first off, I'm going to ask, and please answer in text Twitch chat. I don't see anybody on voice. Oh, you are on voice. Yeah, there's people on voice. Okay. Either answer in voice or in text chat. Do you own a copy of Clip Studio, or are you interested in? Oh, thank you for. Looks like we have a party rating of Andreal and Art Network. Andreal and Art Network. Yeah. Thanks for rating with the party of 5. Let me go back and give you a follow back on your. Good timing, by the way, because I'm about to do a demonstration before class of how to set up Clip Studio EX for animating. Because there's a few tricks to the workflow to it. There's more that I'm just getting started with using Clip Studio. So there's a lot of gaps in my understanding on how to use it for. On how to use it for like for animating stuff. So I just gave you a follow on Twitch. Thank you very much for the 5-person raid. And also I wanted to thank on voice. Thank you, Revatical, for the Twitch Prime sub. They said that their other alt name is Jimbo. Their main is Jimbo. So, what you're seeing right here is something I did yesterday. Something I'm going to be doing new from now on. On Fridays, we're going to still probably fit in some figure drawing practice on Fridays. I'm going to be putting figure drawing practice into kind of a shuffle. But Friday nights, I want to do a kind of a animation class pre-stream sort of thing, where we basically we concentrate on getting some animation work done together. So Friday night can be the night that if you haven't done anything for the animation homework for Saturday, you can meet up on Friday, and I'll be doing animation stuff together. I'll be doing stuff that might be to the class, that might be specific to the class. I'll be doing demonstrations and demos. This was from last night. This is a demonstration over somebody else's drawing here. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to set up Clip Studio for animation. So first off, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you want to start a new file with new animation. When you set it up, you want to use the you generally want to use like the 1080p template here, and you can also use like 4K template and stuff like that. But 1080p is generally the one that you want to use. Frame rate should be set to 24. And other than that, I think that's about it. You name your file and so on. I think I need to second something. May need to wash my glasses a little bit because the ones I have are a little bit of a rub. Let me try these. These are clean. Okay, I'll use these for a little bit. These are clean, but they're a little weird. Okay, so we can there. Also, guys, if you wanna, if you support the stream with Twitch Prime Sub, you'll be able to support me to get a new mic stand, so I can put the mic at a proper distance from my face with a pop filter. I'm holding the mic at about where it needs to be held from for my stream audio to come through, and then I do like stream audio adjustments because it might be a little bit loud right now. I'm seeing it go into the red. Like, how does it sound when I talk right now? Like, versus like how it was sounding before. Like, this is roughly about the distance minus a pop filter that the microphone should be from my face when I'm doing these classes. Like, so but yeah, if you get me like Twitch Prime subs or other support and stuff, I'll be able to buy equipment like this, the stream mic. Well, I'm going to be ordering that anyway, but subs and support helps me pay for that kind of stuff. Yeah, way cleaner sound on my voice because I'm like right here. Yeah, it is loud. When I get the mic stand, I'm gonna have to do some mic adjustments on like the gain filter and so on because I have the gain I had the gain boosted before. Because I had the gain boosted before because I had the mic a distance away from me. So it's like a good ways away right now. But yeah, let's see here. All right, so create a new file. Open. Okay. All right. So this is what you start with. So this paper layer, I think that's just like your your typical white background in Clip Studio. You can recolor it if you need it. I think like say if you are going to be doing an animation, I think you can recolor the workspace. Yeah. By double clicking it, you can do that. Change it that way. So anyway, so the layering works really strange in Clip Studio when you want to do animation. Like, here, I'll show you an example. Like, I draw here, and on my animation cell or something. Let's say I draw like this dude right here. That's like my rough animation or something. And like, let's say I want to switch to another color and then do cleanup or something. And so I want a lower opacity on him, and then I create a new layer, and then try. Oh no, I can't draw. What's going on here? Well, in order to create a new in order to create like a new layer on which to draw over this guy, instead of creating a new layer over here on the right, you create a new animation folder. So you click this. Now you have a new folder where you can create a new cell, animation cell, and now you can do cleanup. Make this guy pretty. So, now I'm going to show you, and so like, basically when you're using Clip Studio in this way to do like different layers on your animation, you kind of want to separate them into different animation folders, and you rename the folders. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. So clean up right there. And then this one would be roughs. Like that. Alright, so now we got these two, we got a cleanup layer and a rough layer. I'm going to show you how to actually do animation on this. So, first off, you go to anywhere in the timeline here, beyond like 1, where it is right there, and you create a new animation cell. Now I got a new animation cell. You can actually turn off the visibility on the cleanup layer because we don't need it right now. But now we got a blank frame here. So in order to see like the previous frame, so we know what we like have an idea of what we're doing, we use the onion skinning mode, which is right here. And in order to like change the properties of the onion skinning, I think it's in, I forget where it is exactly, but I'll show you how to set up a shortcut to get it. Because it's really inconvenient to go into the onion skin settings from the menu. But here's what the onion skin settings look like. And I have it set. I have the previous display color set to red right here, because the default's to blue, and that's kind of not. I like to do my animation in blue. Let's see here. So you can also set you can set previous frames up to 10. I think there's a way to do more, but you can you can go from 0 to 10 for like being able to see how many previous frames of animation or next frame to animation. One. Yeah, let's see. You can specify the opacity level and so on, other things like that. It's really handy to have this be able to open at a tap, because there's not really any way to like stretch and squish the onion skinning settings on the timeline like there is in some animation software. So next, now that we got a new panel, I'm going to draw another frame of our dude. Let's see. Let's have him like. Okay, I'm gonna field from chat. What should this guy do for like the next pose he goes into? Like, what should be the action of this animation? Should he sit down? Should he freak out? Should he jump? Bow? All right, we'll do that. Let's see here. That's right. I have the opacity down on this previous thing. So we'll do a little kind of like arc here for his bow. And then we got like his legs are going to be in the same spot, but his weight's going to shift a bit. There. Yeah. This little stick man. Alright, so like we only have 2 frames here, like that. And if you notice, like I'm scrubbing between them like that. I can turn the onion skinning on and off without clicking on the bar. I'm going to show you real quick. So, and also I can play the animation by hitting the play button. So I'm going to show you all that, including how to set up the onion skinning with the shortcut settings. So go into File and go to Shortcut Settings right here. And then under Animation here, one of the first things you want to do is you want to set a key for New Animation Cell. I have it set to P, but you can set it to whatever you feel would work for you. So anytime I want to make a new animation cell, I hit P. playback and stop button I have set to the button that is above the enter button on the right side of the keyboard, that little slash key. So that's for play and stop on the animation. Go to previous frame, go to next frame. I have this set up this way because like there's other animation software I use that has this this kind of setup for animation timeline scrubbing. This one's really important to set up because it makes it a lot easier for you to visualize your animation, like roll and flip it. So this one's for previous. I use the comma for previous frame, period for go to next frame. Enable onion skin. I have set to the apostrophe button that's to the left of enter. It looks like it's like an up. It looks like it's something else here, but it's the key that's directly left to the enter button with the apostrophe key that's next to the semicolon button. So that this toggles the onion skin on and off. And this is the semicolon key, which is of course next to this key. The semicolon key is where I have my onion skin settings enabled. So if you need to review these settings, let's maybe try. I'm going to do a quick clip. Hopefully that might be enough to work with. Let's see how far back this went. So curiosity apostrophe key that's next to the semicolon button. Not very far back, did it? But if you anyone who's in chat who can clip my stream, you know I can do it manually. That was a quick clip. So I'm gonna do a setting. Onion skin I have set to the. Let's maybe try. Let's edit this real quick. Quick shortcut settings in the editing. It has like this this kind of setup for animation timeline scrubbing. Okay, it's not perfect, but this one's really important to set up because it makes it a lot easier for you to visualize your animation, like roll and flip it. Let's try. I'm gonna run it down real quick so people have enough time to record it. So let's do that. All right, so here are the shortcuts. New animation cell. Set it to P. Play and stop. I set it to the key that's above enter, the little backslash key. Previous frame and next frame. I set it the previous frame to comma and the next frame to period. Enable onion skin. I set it to the apostrophe that's next to semicolon. And onion skin. I set it to semicolon. Okay, cool. That should be good. Like that. Let's see how that clips. So people have enough time to record it. So let's do that. Perfect. Let's do that. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. New animation cell. Set it to P. Play and... Alright, goody. Alright, cool. I'll post that also in Discord chat. Here we go. Okay. Alright, so, now we're taking care of that. As you can see, I can toggle onion skin on and off. I can scrub the timeline, and so on. So, next thing we do, I'm going to take this frame, drag it out, a little bit like that, and insert a new keyframe right here. I'm going to create like a little anticipation drawing here. Use blue. Okay, so I know what my roughs are. My blues are color. My blues is color coded as roughs right here. So this guy's gonna arc back a little bit. His head's gonna dip down a bit because he is bending. So here's the three poses we got. Turn off onion skin and we can see what they look like. So those are three poses, but if we play it, it goes like that. So let's time this out. I'm going to say, so I'm going to show you, like, you can drag multiple frames by, like, dragging up from the bottom here, and I think from outside here. as long as it's not on the frame itself, you can drag and grab multiple frames. You can even drag them on different timelines, like you can do this. Let's say you have more frames on both these, you can do that. Sometimes there's going to be times when you want to stretch this just out your timeline to get more timeline visible, so you can do more editing. I think there might be a way for me to adjust the timeline size a bit too. But anyway, so I'm going to do what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these. I'm going to stretch these to about like frame 12, so that it's held on the initial drawing for about 12 frames. I'm going to grab this and put it about. It's going to be a very short bow animation, so I'm going to put about 19. And then I'm going to grab the other end here, because this is going to be the end of my animation. I'm going to drag this down over to, I want to say about, put it on 27 for now. So one thing I like doing is, like, let's say like you need like a note layer. I make a layer here, and I do some like notes and like some guide stuff or like some arcs or some things and so on. Blah blah blah. Notes. Some timing charts that I don't need for the whole thing. I can grab this and I can put it over here outside the timeline, and I won't play on my timeline. And it's there, like, if you have, like, other drawings that you don't want to necessarily delete. That's the other thing, too. If you want to delete something, you can just hit delete. Delete, it makes a blank keyframe. You can also, you can also delete frame by right-clicking and going delete frame. That doesn't do it. That deletes, like, the actual, like, frame. Looks like, here's some stuff I haven't gotten into, actually. You can split clip, set as the first one. Yeah, there's a bunch of other things you can do and set up different layers and so on. That's handy, and I haven't gotten into that stuff yet. But all right, so if you want to just get rid of the clip, in there you can go to, instead of delete frame, go to delete, or when you have the frame, highlighted. You can also cut and paste stuff like that. You can cut and paste stuff to different parts of the timeline there. So now that I have this, let's create about like 2 or 3 more frames. I'm gonna like scrub my timeline right here, and I'm gonna turn the onion skin on and off. I need a new keyframe here, so I'll hit P or new breakdown. So I'll make a new breakdown. With the character like somewhat getting into pose a bit, favoring the green drawing that's ahead of us that he's going into. But and then I'll make another, go back 2 frames. I'm going to make this 2. Go back 2 frames, add another keyframe here. And I'm going to make it like a halfway point here between the head tilting back I'm going to aim for about like placing my drawings about halfway between these two. That's kind of an acceleration thing going on. Let's take a look at what it looks like now. This is a very simple stickman animation, so you only need, I'm going to add about like 2 or 3 more frames, I would say. I like how it holds up here, so I'm going to hold that for about 4. I'm going to hold that actually about for as long as the beat goes. I'm going to add about 4 frames here. I'm going to add about 2 to 3 frames. Add a new frame here. Little onion skin. I like kind of working. Sometimes I like working my way backwards. I'm going to actually do an overshoot here. What an overshoot is, you go a little bit beyond where the thing settles, where the pose that it goes into. So in this case, I'm overshooting the green drawing, putting his head very slightly more down. It's not always necessary to do an overshoot, but I think it would work well here because like he's bending over and he's kind of catching himself a bit. I have his hips going slightly more over there. So on. I might hold that cell a little bit longer. Add more time there for this. This guy I'd probably go about here. I want to hold it for like a beat. Add more 2 frames there. I'm gonna hold it for like a beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it comes up a little bit, like a very slight adjustment. Favoring the green drawings a little bit. Let's see how that looks. Turn off onion skin, play. I'm gonna actually shorten that a bit. Cool. He kind of pops into it now, so now I like how long it's holding there. Place about, we'll maybe have him start coming down somewhere around here. But for here, I want him like pretty good way down. But he's kind of like going to be following that arc a bit. I'm going to stretch the head slightly. Add some little extra eyebrow details. I'll immediately see how this looks. Yeah, that doesn't work. Doesn't quite work for me. So we'll get rid of that frame. Let's try again. Let's try maybe halfway point. See how that looks. I'm gonna try roughing it in this time instead of like drawing the whole thing out. And so like drawing in the full details of his face, I mean. So I did draw his body in. Lifting his face up. It still looks a little odd now, but that works a little better. I don't think I need to do much more than that. His bow should be sudden. If anything, like I'll just like the timing of it is fine for simple stick figure man on 2s. So like he's following like the arc right here. drooping down. Full body, and he's got like multiple mouths here. I'm doing a smear and a multiple right here for his eyes. The eyes in the mouth are multiples. I actually think I should do smear because that's going to make it more apparent.
Wait, shit, are we doing a figure drawing class? Shit.
No, we're doing an animation class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a warm. I'm doing a little demonstration of how to use Clip Studio EX before we start on this week's homework.
Okay. I thought I missed it. All right.
Can't really figure out how to. Trying to smear his mouth and his eyes without having looking absolute crap. But we'll try that. Looks a little odd because I couldn't really figure out how I was going to smear those little lines. Maybe like this. So now that you got that, Stickman demo. Now that you got this, if you want to export the if you want to export the animation, go to export animation. Export it as an image sequence, which you can use to like export as into programs like After Effects and so on to do compositing, or other programs like Clip Studio or whatnot. Do more like refine, cleanup, or other things. You can export it as a GIF to post it to the web or whatever. Like, I'm gonna post it in the classroom chat right now. There he is, our little stick man. In the Discord now. Bean. Alright, so Maxi is going to be running a little late because he's driving home, and he's going to be driving home. He'll be popping into the voice chat, and we'll be doing a tag team review of homework for this week. But I'd like to share what I've been working on. So this week, I actually spent more time trying to develop some animation characters that I want to animate. There's this one, this one, and let's see, out of this one. Bring these up. So bring up these two too. Yeah, like earlier this week, this is what I was mainly working on. I was trying to like come up with a better solid drawing for some animation some characters I want to animate. Here's a draft on this character that I want to do some animations with. Very Christmassy. It's a kind of a mixture of Rankin Bass, Doctor Who. Rankin Bass with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with Doctor Who. This one is kind of like a weird friendly eldritch horror demon dog, sort of like some kind of Lovecraftian here, or something from a Del Toro movie. But this guy's friendly. This is of course Spacedad in Cyberpunk Land, basically, or Night City. And I'm going to be doing more animation with him. Some other posing stuff. And then here's Astropug that I actually tried out some animation with yesterday. But I was trying to wrap my head around the character models and stuff, like how I'm going to simplify them to use them in animation and stuff. Do some other draw-over stuff, and me kind of working out what the basic construction is and so on. And so yesterday, I finally got to doing some animation this week. I did this little thing based on some of the live action footage. There's some things that I actually, there's several, this was like my first big warm-up animation. So it's pretty kind of clunky. There's a lot more I need to do with it, but might actually get some feedback from Maxi later on live on the stream, and we can try stuff out with it. But I'll probably take some frames out of it, and there's a few other things I would want to do with it. Kind of like where it's going, because I want Astropunk to be kind of clumsy looking and the top heavy and goofy. And one of the other things I'll probably do is there's a guy with a gun that's like getting ready to aim at Astropug there. And I want there to be like a big kind of over the top, like giant splash of gore and blood when she slices him. This big spray of blood and blood coming from the side of the camera when he's laying there. And anyway, so this is I didn't get too far with. I only got to spend about 45 minutes on the boy with the hammer test, but I'm gonna probably spend a little bit more during this class. But this is working pretty good so far. All I really need to do for it is like there's some maybe reeling. I would probably reel in like the final pose on this myself, because overall it's working. The test is working fine. I've got to reel in the final pose on this, and then I got to go back through and make sure that the volumes are corrected to be consistent to the original pose. But this is pretty on the money. I've got like I only spent about 45 minutes on this, so the test takes 2 hours to do. So that's to just give you a time frame of how like somebody who's even out of practice, professional animator could probably take on this test in a reasonable amount of time. Of course, all you had a whole week to try working on it. I was trying to do a bunch of other stuff before I finally got to mine. But I've seen some really impressive versions of the tests this week that outdo mine, and you guys are going to give me a run for my money. So then there's this from last night, and this is a kind of a hint at things to come regarding, let's see here. This is kind of a hint at things to come with how interesting things are going to get for my demo. So literally I did this last night. This was a draw over one pose that Raboots, I think, posted in chat. Yeah, and I saw some possibilities for what to do with it. And then I just did like one kind of anticipation frame, and then I just kind of like made up a bunch of stuff. For it. And I want to turn this into an animation with Astropug. So I'm going to be working on that this next week too. But this turned out pretty nice, and this is like me getting a little bit more into the rhythm of animating. So, one of my goals, and hopefully for the rest of this week, is now that I've got my animation figure models established for the characters that I'm going to animate pretty reasonably well, I'm going to concentrate on getting animation stuff done next week. We'll probably mix it up throughout the week with some sort of like figure practice that's supplemental to what we're doing, and we're going to be continuing like the hand practice stuff on Wednesday. But I'm thinking of maybe doing an animation themed week next week. So our head drawing class. Head drawing class is going to involve head drawing animation. Wednesday class, we'll be doing some more hands and probably maybe a little more anatomy, but it's going to involve maybe hand animation. Friday class I want to do what I was talking about with if you miss your homework throughout the week, you can use the Friday class as your kind of like night before Saturday Friday put something together so you can submit it for the class the next day. But we're gonna, and anyways, throughout the week, I'm going to see if we can do some impromptu figure drawing sessions or things like that. We'll see how it goes. But if everyone is down with that, we're going to try to make next week very animation centric, but adjacent to all the classes that we've been doing and building on the stuff we've been doing. Some of the stuff we've been doing from last week and the previous week, some head drawing class is going to come into play when we're animating heads. Ethan Becker wedge is a great tool for plotting out how you do a head turn, for example. There's structures to the anatomy of the hands that we're going to go over. It's going to make it easier to simplify hands and also animate them on Wednesday. Let's see here. I find it impossible to draw with my arm shoulder for any noticeable amount of time instead of wrist. You can practice or exercise to improve that. Loosen up your shoulder, roll your shoulder around and stuff. Make sure you are drawing from your shoulder. Sit up straight with your drawing pad at a good angle. Make sure that you're able to rest your hand on your drawing device. This is where you want an artist's glove. You want an artist's glove, and you want to be able to hold your hand in a relaxed manner when you're drawing, because you don't want to be pressing very hard when you're drawing, digitally or traditionally. You always want to have a light touch because you have more control that way. But anyway, let's take a look at what people have submitted for homework so far. Also, if, let's see here. There's not a lot of people on Ethan's server right now. Voice chats, I mean. How big was stream? How many people did we have last stream? We only have about like 27 people right now. A lot of people got cases of the art lazies, I think, but it's all right. You guys have stuck around for this new week. But we have a lot of people who did submit homework that I'm going to be going over on stream. It looks like some people outside of our time zone also submitted homework too, who couldn't be here, but who were able to submit homework. Let's take a look at my personal server, where I've had people do the homework submissions this week. So here we go. We'll just do a quick rundown of these. Looks like some gifts. Attempts at the test. Attempted by pasta of a bouncing ball. I'd say there's some unsuccessful things going on with this. Like the ball looks more like it's a topping, and this doesn't look like a very clean arc. What might help you is if like you kind of get a consistent shape of the ball, and also if you plot your arcs out. You did it without a ball. Yeah, you did it with the government. I think it's stupid to try it out. Yeah. So this is Bex, and I'm actually really impressed with this. Bex took a drawing I did that was a draw over of some of their work that where I took a very kind of like very like not entirely worked out drawing of like a penguin holding a gun. It was sort of using some live action pose, some like pose reference and stuff, and I showed them how to push it, and I told them to do with it what they wanted to. These are both of my drawings here. Like I didn't really do a draw over, so I just like pushed the same idea and showed them how to use it a bit. So let's see here. So this is actually a really fantastic job. I think this is almost like this is like pretty close to being worth putting on a reel, I would say. Like, if you don't have a if you don't have an animation demo reel yet, something like this would be great for it. Like I haven't seen the rest of your work, so I don't know what other animation you've done, but this is really really good, really well done. Let's see here. So this is an attempt at the the boy with hammer test. Oh, someone accidentally posted in the wrong channel. Yeah, I won't delete that, but just so you know that those go in the drawing homework section, the animation homework section. I wonder if there's a way for me to move that post actually. Move. That kind of move function. Admins, guess not. But it's no big deal if it's in here. I'm not going to get rid of it. But just you might want to repost that in the drawing pictures. All right. Let's see here. So this one by Pigeon, who's one of our younger members, is getting more in animation. Let's see here. There's some stuff there's some stuff at the beginning that looks pretty promising. So first off, you need a starting pose of him standing fully upright in roughly about the same pose that the boy the hammer test is before he goes into these poses where he leans down. But the actual lean down part isn't too bad. I would maybe get rid of that. I would get rid of this plant frame and replace it with them leaning down. This frame looks okay. Simple frame. Here, let's see here. Like we have one frame, 2 frame, 3 frame, 4 frame, 5 frame. I'd get rid of that frame. Maybe get rid of that. I would get rid of that frame too. And I'd just have like the end frame. You kind of over animated this a bit outside the parameters of the test. This test is supposed to test your ability to get strong keyframes. So you're only going to want 5 or 6. You want to tell a story with 5 or 6 drawings. And also another thing to note is that the hammer is not really tracking by an arc. Anytime you animate something, you want to make sure it's following a nice clean arc. Like you want to actually like draw an arc. Like when the hammer is lifted up, for example, where it ends up, and you want to draw an arc from when it's swinging down. Like right now, it kind of looks like the hammer sort of like teleports a little bit around. But let me see if I can find a good example of one of the other tests. But well, let's get mine real fast. So I've got more work to do on mine, but I have a starting pose right here. It's pretty close to the original test. He crouches down and chokes up on the mouth. I'm kind of riffing on the Studio Ghibli guys thing. He exerts himself, pulling the hammer up. His weight kind of shifts a little bit. I think I could probably push like his hips to the left a little bit more on this one, because like he's kind of compensating his weight here. Grabbing the hammer like up there and down there. Body's kind of tilting back a bit. And the hammer's sort of following like, even though it's like a big jump, the hammer's still kind of following an arc. Like that, see? His body's sort of like settling a bit, kind of adjusting to carrying the weight of the hammer. The weight is being carried by that back leg there. And I actually may modify that a bit. Let's see here. Now have him like slide his foot back a little bit. His foot kind of lifts up, even though the ball of the foot is still in the same spot. But he's now like kind of taking the weight of the hammer a bit. And then on this frame, there's an arc of him smashing the hammer down, and I have the hammer actually squash to exaggerate the motion. And I wanted to try exaggerating him more, but I think I want to like tone it down just a little bit, like, or just do some modifications to it, like something like this. So I'm kind of visualizing what his legs have done to kind of push his body up a bit more. Like, so his legs would be stretched out like this because they pushed him off the ground from the previous frames. I'll save a new version of this so I can go back to the other one later. You should always save multiple versions of your work, so that like if you change something like what I'm doing right now, you have the old version to go back to. And also you have backups in case like you lose some work, something, if a file gets corrupted, you have a version of it that's not too far back. Getting religious about making backups of your work can save you giant headaches, both your personal work and your professional work. So I'm going to probably play with this some more later. But overall, like, this is kind of working a little... It's working a little better. I could probably tone down the buttocks coming up a bit. Save. I'm going to save another version and keep that one like good. And I'm going to try modifying this a bit. So I'm doing this to kind of like do a demo real quick of like how you want to approach this stuff, and also to kind of warm up a little bit. So we're going to get back into those demos. And thanks, Kiradel, for the 100 bits. Let's see here. Animation, let's see here. Homework review. So Katrin, who is a professional animator, pal of mine from Twitter, they also submitted some homework for the test. They're trying out the test. This one, I'd say, is a pretty successful test. Although I think probably some things that can be done, like to make the impact stronger. But overall, like the control of the size relationship to the puppet they committed to is working pretty well, and like this is like a reasonably solid test. It's nice and clean. It shows off like Katrin is a professional storyboard artist. So their poses here look very much like kind of how you would see like in a storyboard artist handle posing, like Storyboard Pro or something. Cool. See here. Becca, unfortunately, your video is in the wrong format for me to play through this. I might look at it later. Zav, I'm really kind of impressed with as far as like, I think there's more that can be done to push the shift of the weight of the hips in this, and also that you fully, and also you fully animated this, but you, I mean, like you kind of did your own test thing with it. See how many poses you actually did do with this. So you got one pose. Yeah, you're kind of fully in between this thing. I mean, this is fine. You're basically just doing an animation test here for yourself. Oh, things got a little confused here with that frame. Looks like you animated the hammer first, which is not a bad strategy necessarily, but let's take a look at the guy, what's actually happening with him. So he's leaning down right here. You get an anticipation here where they straighten out the arms and lean forward a little bit. That's good. Sort of pulling the hammer back with the upper body. But I'm not seeing a huge shift of weight. I think you can push the shift of weight. And also, it looks like the what you cut. It looks like you are making a common mistake of like you couldn't decide which leg was in front of what. Here, one thing that might help is by shading in the back leg or something, or like color coding the legs so you know which one, or the limbs that are in profile. Like that, it gets kind of hard to keep track. Like the limbs change, like the lower body like changes changes its sides there. But I do like these really solid arcs that you have for this. Go back and try to do the parameters of the test. Like just take out your frames, try to make them, and take out frames until you get like your strongest frames, and then try to like push the weight. Like when he comes back, you should lean back more and be catching himself on his back leg more. And when he comes forward, I want more of kind of like an exertion of force from his pushing from his back leg to swinging the hammer down. But I mean, like, there's this still. I mean, this still feels pretty neat. It's not a terrible test at all by any means. And I think as far as like I still get a sense that they are swinging the hammer. It's just I feel you could push that stuff more and you could fix those issues like shifting and stuff. But I would really want to see how much you can push like the. There is kind of there is a sense of weight to the timing that you did. So like the hammer does feel heavy. I'm just not really feeling as much of a shift of weight in the body as I would want. Like there are parts of it that show promise, like his straightening out his body, and then like they're kind of, you notice like the curve of his body goes that way, and the curve of his body thrusts out to the chest this way. But like I could see you doing that a little bit, but I want to see you push that more, get more confident with having the body exert force. Yeah. Alrighty. Curadale, who did bits and stuff. They did a pretty close to the study of the Ghibli guy test, which is neat. I think that if you slowed this down, you'd get a little bit better results with like an analysis of it. But one thing I would want you to do, I think it's fine to do a test like this. To do a test like this, and I see you did a stick figure trying to notice the tip tilts and stuff. I'd go back through like on like the Studio Ghibli guys thing and try to use the red line and stuff to track like the hip tilts and the shoulder tilts, and track the eye line, the center line of the face and stuff a little bit. That might help you a bit, and also try to track the arcs that are supposed to be happening here. Like when he lifts the hammer up, there's supposed to be an arc. Then lifting the hammer up, when they're swinging the mallet down, there's an arc that they actually drew in the video of the hammer swinging down. Like look at Becca's. I think we're gonna have to open a video of it. It looks like they did some of the live action pose reference stuff. This is just a live action pose test of like the one of the stunt people things. a little bit herky-jerky. I would do it again. Like, now that you've pulled stuff from that, I would do it again and try to keep things simpler. I would even like draw over the frame. I would even like import the video to an animation software that you can use, and like draw on top of the pick what keyframes you have. Pick what are the keyframes, and then rotoscope draw over them. And try to get it pretty clean and clear. So I know the video that you picked. You probably take a few frames out of this, but try to pick the strongest poses that make the strongest statement to the action. You go back and do that. Another command denominator right here. So this one right here, you even numbered the frames. That's good. It's something that I should be doing. So you got your puppet here. That makes it. This puppet will make it really simple for you to, a lot simpler for you to track what that character's doing. And I notice you kind of did like an arc there. That's good. I'd say that the first error is there needs to be more of a weight shift onto the back. Lifting up 1 foot back there is good, but I think that the character needs to look more like he's leaning on his back. Lifting up the foot right there to anticipate swinging the hammer down is not necessarily a bad choice, though. But I would maybe have this foot down right here because he's kind of steadying himself, and then you can have it like the front of his foot right here. I might actually take this one into some animation software if I can import it properly. I'm gonna see if I can actually import it to Clip Studio. I might be able to do a draw over demo of it, but so this one doesn't really sell the animation for me. Here, like you are following. It does look like you are trying to follow an arc. I don't know. The arc kind of looks like the way that the hammer is swinging. It looks like it's kind of gonna swing down and hit over here right now. You want to make sure you keep track of those arcs. Like the hammer's looking a little long in terms of how much the character comes. Because remember, the character is going to come forward to hit the stake. So the mallet should maybe be a little shorter. Another thing that I'll say is here's something you left out. I would take out this frame. This frame doesn't help you. I would take out this frame because this frame doesn't help you. And instead of that, I would add a pose at the beginning. I would add a pose at the beginning where the character is like reaching down to adjust to like anticipate picking up the hammer, because the hammer is a heavy object. Like the way you have it right now, the hammer looks a little weightless. Picking it up. So you want you want it like this: starting pose, and then second pose number 2, the character kneels down a little bit, adjusts their grip on the hammer. Pose 3, the character should be hefting the hammer up. Hammer should be about here, but the character should be exerting their weight, leaning back a bit, trying to like use the weight of their body to like hold the hammer up into their strength. Then the last 2 frames can be something along these lines, but like more of an emphasis on like steadying themselves on their back heel a bit. You can maybe still have an anticipation where a foot comes off the ground. That this would be like pose number 5 though, instead of 4, and that would be pose number 4 instead of 3. And then get rid of that pose, and then have a single hammer swing down. Maybe even when you're doing these, like add your arcs on the page. Like Anytime the hammer moves around, or anywhere else on the character's body, even for an arc, it would make sense to have an arc at that. Like on this, there would be an arc from where the hammer was, to where it's hitting. On number 6. So I hope that helps. If you need to refer back to my notes, you can watch the video replay later. Twitch or on YouTube also, by the way. Pigeon. Yep, we already saw pigeons. Has anybody else submitted some stuff? There's a ball animation somebody submitted, and a couple ball animation. Haven't done Gus's. Curadels. I already did some Curadels. Pasta did a bouncing ball. I would say Pasta use the Richard Williams bouncing ball guide and just like try to follow it to the best of your ability. In another attempt. 1 second. I think some food just came for me. I'm gonna grab it real quick so I can munch. While we're on stream. Be right back. But first. Some food came. I'm gonna get a couple bites. I got some teriyaki chicken that came from DoorDash. So we got some bouncing balls by Tyrone Fan right here. So this one, I'm noticing some issues with the frame rate. There's a few too many frames and a few frames, and also the thing. It might not be tracking on completely an arc. Bouncing ball should be like a very smooth acceleration, deceleration thing. There shouldn't be any point where it really like stops and starts. But go back through here, like there's a few points I see where, for example, right here, there's like it goes off arc here. It feels like it goes off arc. It jumps upward to the left here, off its arc. And it feels like there's a few frames too many when it's floating in the air there. And when it lands here at the end here, it feels like it lands. Yeah, it lands and it stays there instead of, it's not supposed to do that. Like, it's staying in the same spot. It's a moving thing. It's moving across the screen. It's got momentum. A ball wouldn't do that in real life. And also, it actually speeds up at the end there. Like, you have to decide what your momentum is and what the acceleration is. A bouncing ball. This is why you do a bouncing ball test, to kind of track your. If you can't get this right, you're not going to be able to get other stuff right, but it's okay. The reason why you do a bouncing ball test is the bouncing ball won't lie to you. If you're having trouble tracking your arcs, making convincing squash and stretch, and you're having trouble with your timing, and your sense of acceleration and deceleration, bouncing ball will expose those weaknesses, so you can address and recalibrate them. If we forget to do the homework, could you turn it in what we forget later? Yes, I will do additional demos next week for people who weren't able to get to the homework this week. So just keep submitting to the homework chat. There will be some more homework this week. Maxi has something in mind that he's going to show off when he shows up. Where is he right now, actually? Take a look. Get Discord open here. Let me... Is he in voice yet? I don't think he is. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait on him a little bit. That's okay. I'm gonna get a few more bites of this. I got brown rice teriyaki chicken bowl with veggies that I'm having for lunch or dinner. Alright, let's get our bearings a little bit. But yeah, take a look again at the section. The bouncy ball. This one's a lot smoother with a lot more frames, but let's see if there's any problems going on with it. It turns into Sonic at the end, it says. Uh-oh. Yeah, it shouldn't be doing this. Definitely should not be doing that. You want to mind your timing and your spacing. Like this thing, when it's on the high arc and coming down, the drawings are going to be closer together. When it's accelerating and moving towards the ground, the drawings should be steadily further and further apart. So you're going to want to get rid of one of those drawings in there, and then kind of like, as a rule of thumb, for bouncing balls, you take the peak of the arc, you move it very slightly, then you double how much you moved it for the next frame. You double how much you moved it for the next frame. You double how much you moved it for the next frame. You double how much you moved it for the next frame. So it's like you move it like here to here, 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 and then here to there, and so on, until it finally hits the ground and bounces back up, and then you do the same thing but decelerating. Oh, now it's jerking around a bit. It's not really quite following the arc. So let's see. Zip. So it's coming up. Really heavy squash there. Not necessarily a bad thing, but having it linger too much on the ground can potentially like stagger the animation a bit. Let's see. So what should be happening here is like the distance between these two frames should be longer than the distance between these two frames, and from what I'm seeing, it's about the same distance. Now, actually, the distance between those two frames is actually wider than the distance between the starting frames. So what should be happening is that should be the widest distance. These two frames should be the widest distance between frames of this upwards arc, and then these two frames should be closer together than the previous one. These two frames should be closer together than the previous, and like you slowed it down at the top there. But now it's like kind of it teleports over to the side here. Not supposed to be doing that. And then it like zips over here. Remember, a bouncing ball is not going to lie to you. A bouncing ball is a gut check on whether you can handle an understanding of arcs, slow in and slow out, and cross and stretch. And simple momentum exercise. So I'll show a quick chart real quick. Bouncing ball, Richard Williams. So here's some examples of what you want in a bouncing ball test. I think this is an attempt that somebody did at a bouncing ball test. Yeah, Richard Williams gives some examples here. If you notice, like look at how he has the frames spaced out here. You can actually kind of like copy his frames here. You notice like these frames are closer together, those frames are wider apart until it hits the squash there, launches itself up. Those frames are wide apart. Those frames are a little less wide apart, and so on. Although not quite. This is a little bit off actually. Have to think of it. But, yeah, a bouncing ball is not going to lie to you. If something is off about it, then it's going to immediately expose it. Like, this is a little bit cleaner, I would say, to what you should be aiming for. So check it out. So here's what's happening here. Look, those two frames are closer together at the top of the arc. And remember, it's all following an arc. You want to plot out an arc like this for each of your bounces. And maybe like each bounce is like half as high as the previous arc. Each arc is like that far. And the width should be about roughly about half where it lands. Anyway, that the height is about half. So what you do is these two frames are close together. Those two frames are further apart. Further apart. Those two frames are further apart. Those two frames are further apart. And there's also a stretch point here. And the reason why that these two frames are close together is because it's about to make contact with the ground. When it does, it squishes, and then it immediately zips up off the ground. In this case, it creates a stronger impression of coming up higher here, let's say. And same thing as like when it came down here. Those two frames are far apart. Those two frames are close together, closer together, closer together, closer together. Starting point, further apart, further apart, further apart, squish, close together, close together, and so on, so on, so on, until it finally settles at the end there. Another thing to keep in mind is the what's the momentum of your ball moving. So there's three things that are happening here. Your ball has a momentum where it's essentially like if you remove the bounce, the ball is essentially rolling across the screen. Like you could start the ball at a certain speed and then it like decelerates until it stops at the end. There's that momentum, and you can have that carrying the ball from left to right, even without a bounce. But then on top of that, there's the bounce that's like the up and down right here. So there's momentum of the following the arcs and momentum following the up and down of the bounce. So there is the left to right movement, the up and down bounce, and the arcs. All three of those things are acting together to create a 3D bounce. If you remove the arcs, for example, and you remove the forward momentum, you can have a ball that's just bouncing in place at the same rate that this is going to, but it's just not moving. It's just not going to move left to right across the screen. If you remove the arcs and the up and down, you can have a ball that's moving at the same rate across the screen. It starts at a certain speed and it decelerates until it stops. And so on. I don't think you can really do much if you remove everything but the arcs. So, kind of need the arcs or something you layer on top of those things. But yeah, hope that helps a little bit. This is where I found this thing here, bouncing ball tutorials. seems to be a potentially useful page. So I'll copy paste that into Twitch chat. Oh, there's Maxi. Hey, Max.
Yep.
Hey. Cool. Alright. Yeah, Maxi's here. So,
Sorry, I'm late.
that's fine. Alrighty. So, I've already given some input on animation stuff. First thing I want to ask is, do you have any suggestions on what people can do for the next step, like exercises for this next week?
Let's see. So you went over what is it? What have you gone over? So I'll give you a summary quick. Sorry.
What I've gone over so far was I've gone over people's demos and I've talked a little bit about them. I've given some people feedback. They can refer back to what I've gone over with the video recording, but I'd love to hear what your feedback is on theirs, and I'd love to hear some feedback on some of my work too.
Alright. Is it in class?
Oh yeah, let me upload.
Oh, let's see.
I'll put it on Classroom chat. My stuff in there. Actually, you're in my personal Discord, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, you are.
Oh yeah. I'm in it.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah. All the homework submissions have been going into animation homework. So I'm gonna upload.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna upload my stuff there too. I also did a little Clip Studio, how to use Clip Studio Stickman bow demo. You can name there. Then I'm just gonna add for the heck of it. But yeah, there's that, and let's see. There's a modified version of the boy with hammer test that I added a little bit to the beginning here. So I'll add that as well. You don't have to give feedback on the Stickman for my stuff, and I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear like if you did any of the. Were you able to do any of the? I mean, like I don't know how much professional work you weren't able to get too much animation.
I was way too busy to be able to work on the homework. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's understandable. Like Maxi works, for those who don't know, is a freelance animator who works. You worked in Japanese. You worked for the Japanese animation studios, but you also there's a Western studio that.
Currently I'm full time within a Western studio. So so I'm always busy. So.
Cool. This week's homework, for those who are just catching up, it's the boy with the hammer test from Toei. The information on that is in here in my homework assignment section on my Discord. Which you can see on screen. My personal Discord. And for those who want to join, there's a join link on my Twitch page. There's a join link on my Twitch page on the Discord. Should be. And if you can't join for whatever reason, I'll just link it to Twitch chat. But and here you can check on what the homework assignments are, and you can submit them for critique. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in there. Actually, just feel free to grab any assignment, any homework that you think might be worth feedback on.
No, I'm going through them right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing I will definitely say, here's what the homework will be. The main homework will be this week. Main homework for anyone who submitted and got critique. Or even if we didn't get to critique for you for whatever reason, or we didn't give you that in-depth critique, revise your test. Try to improve what you did. Or if you had a kind of a bad start to your test, maybe redo the test. Like, do another attempt at the boy with the hammer. I'd do another bouncing ball, or whatever else, and I would want, and in addition to that, I'm gonna maybe spitball with Maxi, maybe, but we can come up with some kind of other fun additional 1 or 2 things that we can have as exercise assignments for this next week. So yeah, go ahead. You can take it. We can take it away and critique.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to look at Catrins.
Katrin.
Is that our Katrin? That's
Katrin is a professional storyboard artist.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, I just want to say how good this one is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're actually here, because like you, they
Yeah.
actually work in the industry.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Yeah, they submitted for the homework.
Yeah. Yeah, Catrins is good.
Mhm.
Common is pretty decent. I think that common the dominator needs to work on is the final frame. Because the initial like weight that falls down, it seems like he stomps as the hammer hits the ground, but usually sometimes you would stomp, or you would put your foot down before it hits. But it depends on kind of the choreography of the body, but in general, not bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was telling them there should be more of a shift to the weight. Like probably
Yeah.
like there should be more anticipation within. There's a few frames they can take out, and then they can use them to have the character choke up on the hammer and lean down, kind of like the Ghibli test guy. Like did a really big like giveaway of what you're supposed to do to sell the weight. That is, you have a character anticipate exerting effort to lift something up. Like that,
Yeah.
like the second frame that the Ghibli animator did was let's see if I could find it. Homework assignments going here. So here's what he did for the test.
Yeah.
And so if you see, he gave himself like he got the starting frame. He has like about 2 frames of the character like reaching down, choke up on the hammer. 1 frame of them hefting the hammer.
Yeah.
For the frame of 3. Number 4 is them kind of pulling the hammer back up, like it's like the halfway point to the peak of their body, almost kind of the peak of the arc.
Yeah.
And that gives me an idea for to revise mine actually. And they're kind of studying their weight. There's like some weight shifts starting to happen from this leg to the other foot. Like initially the weight is on like the front foot, and then they're kind of transferring the weight of the hammer to their front leg, and then it rolls over their hips to their back leg when they raise up the hammer by frame 5. And 6, they've come down and they've shifted the weight into the force of the hammer following the arc. And there's a little the hat pops off their head to kind of reinforce that this is a forceful action that occurred.
Yeah.
Great touch. And the back foot comes off because the back foot has the force taken off of it, and the force of the hammer coming down was so extreme for this light-bodied kid that it kind of pulled him forward a little.
Yeah.
But yeah. That gives me a little cheat sheet to play with for later for mine, for sure.
So I'm gonna get some Becca's here. Becca, the animation you did, it's pretty good when you especially have the keys like that. I would just recommend the placement of the actual character, like just so it actually looks like they're jumping. In general, it does seem the keys are good. Next time, make sure the placement of the character looks good when they're jumping, and also when they then later on from there, once you can start
Oh yeah, you're talking about Becca's live action footage.
Yeah,
I've got,
Becca's, yeah.
I've got it on screen right now.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can loop it.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go.
So I would just say that to make sure the placement of the character when she does her initial jump, make have the character in the sky a bit higher so it looks looks a bit more dynamic. Overall, the keys are good, yeah, overall the keys are good. Next time, just focus on like the form and kind of tying down the character's I guess physique in a sense, and it is very sketchy, which is not bad, but yeah, just focus on like so you're pretty so it is pretty good. So just go ahead and you can grab other live action stuff and try to break them down, and after that, then just do good. I'm not sure what else to say.
Yeah, I would suggest that they should do some rotoscope studies.
Yeah.
Over the live action, and when you do them, try to like design arcs between the different try to like follow how the head tracks and stuff. The real life doesn't really have arcs per se, so you kind of have to abbreviate and design around stuff. But in any case, try to find like the strongest, fewest poses you can to describe the action in the rotoscoping you do. Try to make those. Try to put the confidence in those poses. Like, I think that rotoscoping thing that I'm describing, I think that should be one of the homework assignments that we all do this week. A rotoscoping assignment using live action footage.
Not really rotoscoping. You interpret the movement your own way. You can create your own character on top of it. Don't try to roto it.
I'm saying I think they should do a rotoscope thing to get the frames to start. That's the starting point. That's an action study for them to understand the action. They should do a rotoscoping. So here's what they should do. Tier 1 of homework this week for this is take some live action footage, like a stunt or something, or maybe something from a film or whatever. Something that's clear and clean that you can use. And I want you to do a rotoscoping thing where you try to get as few frames as possible to describe the action with the strongest poses that you can. You're going to do a rotoscoping draw over of what poses you think are the strongest things that describe the action. That communicate what's happening in the simplest way, the clearest way.
Yeah.
Then, from that, phase 2 of the assignment is you take what you did with those studies and you use that as your reference to create a character animating like that. When you do the character, you're going to be going beyond and adding to and modifying, as you see fit, the original reference to create your own thing. That means you're going to be paying very close attention to principles like arcs and splash and stretch and things like that, and adding things that don't really occur quite as much in the rotoscope draw over, but they would occur in a more kind of exaggerated, hyper real cartoon or anime Sakuga looking thing. And so that would be that's what the homework will be this week. That's the main homework assignment this week, outside of doing correction critique of the stuff we did last week. It's a two-phase assignment where you do the live action reference stuff, and then you take a character or a simple character puppet. Like you can just do like a simple kind of stickman figure or like very, very simple figure stand-in character that you can like kind of like a rough, loose volumetric anime character or something like that. Whatever, or a simple cartoon character body or stickman or something simple that you then use the live action scope study you did as your reference point to create your animation. So yeah. And if you need help on finding that stuff, Maxi, maybe we should go over a bit, like some of the Twitch channels, for example.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, animation is for everyone is trending on Twitter right now. Hey folks,
Oh, what?
there is a animation is for everyone. It's trending on Twitter for right now. The tag, I'm gonna type something on Twitter right now. So check this out. The tag animation for everyone is. So guys, if you want to help me
Oh,
out
wow.
right now, let's take advantage of this. Link my Twitch is trending right now while I'm right in the middle teaching a Twitch class and animation for beginners. Come on in and give you and have so I'm going to put that up. And so, guys, if you want to help me out, put something in the animation that's for everyone, maybe to give me a little plug for my class and stuff. That would really help out. We could maybe get some viewers in here. It's posted to your Twitters and whatnot. I'm going to post that now.
Oh.
Let's see. Create commissions, you should. This is a little thing on art commissions. I'm going to also retweet while I'm at it. All right, cool. So, live action stuff. Maxi, I'm bringing up your Twitch page. You, there was this previous study you did with the PGA 1225 account.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna link that person in chat because that person has a lot of
they do.
a lot of really good live action reference. Let's see if we can dig out
Yes.
some of the other ones because I've seen a few of them. Like there's a few other stunt people.
Oh, yeah.
Resources. These ones I'm going to post I'm going to post these in the Ethan Becker classroom chat. So let's see here, like so.
I don't even know that that Twitter user personally. I just follow her.
Well,
And,
yeah.
I wonder how she feels like being used as reference for animation.
I think well, she seemed flattered from it from what I saw.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Do that real quick. I usually do that at the start of the stream. Give a reminder where people were to go. We're copied in. Alright, so we got PGA. What are some other ones you might have handy? There's some really good ones.
Well, I also do the one. Well, PJ seems to be more of like she does small cool things, but then there's also the Twitter account or the account Marshall Club, which I follow also. When I showed you the Marshall Club, and it has a tricker named Andy Lee that I follow, and there's a bunch, but it's up to you guys to find out. Yeah, Marshall. Marshall Club.
There we go.
No. Marshall isn't martial arts, like and club, and there should be.
Is it an underscore club or something like that?
No, I think it might be underscore club. Yeah. If you can't find it, it might be on Twitter instead. Yeah, they're more active on Twitter, I think.
Marshall Club, Team Marshall Club.
I think it's the first one right there. Yeah.
Team Marshall Club.
Yeah, the first one. No, the first one that you saw right there. Yeah. There. That's the guy that I reference on. He has more stuff on Instagram, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'll link him too. Maybe I should stream the. Yeah, I'm gonna stream the Discord page.
Very nice.
You can see now. You can see the Discord page in real time if you're in the classroom chat. Right? So, yeah, there's good stuff in here.
Yeah.
Sure. There. I'm trying to remember what the There was this one group of stuntmen, Japanese stuntmen who they do a bunch of videos where like often there's like special effects overlaid on what they're doing, and there's a lot of animators that have actually done like stuff using their stuff. I'm gonna maybe try to see if I can find and dig that out, but let's try to maybe put together a repository of like Twitch stuntmen or something. Like these generous people that show off their cool ass stunts that we can do awesome animation studies from. Let's maybe see here. So I have an art and animation section in my Discord. I'm gonna add a Twitter stuntman. Folks.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Twitter stunt folks. This is not necessarily for Twitter, but this is going to be a section where we will post animation stunt reference of people like this.
Yeah. It could range from like parkour to like tricking to any like cool feats that
totally.
humans can do.
Yeah. It's any kind of stunt reference. Let's try actually animation stunt. Animation action reference. I'm gonna leave that open to like what you can post whatever kind of suitable action reference it could be. I mean, like people could post animation reference of animals in here. But let's start with some Twitter stuntman.
Yeah.
Let's see, Marshall. We got the PGA in here. I already linked that. So we got those 3 things to start. Well, we'll try to see if we can grab more as I start finding more. Let me see if. Yeah. All right, cool. Also, for anyone who wants to follow my Twitter, I have 2 accounts. That was my art. That other one was my art account because I need more follows on Twitter before I can get more follows. It's really. Oops. There we go.
Shameless promo.
Shameless promos. But yeah, if you want to follow my Twitter, let's link that in the Twitch chat. People in the Discord should be able to find it by clicking my profile when I'm not in stream mode. But, yeah, that's there too. Let's see here. So getting back to the homework, let's see if there's any additional feedback we can give the people who submitted this week. I would be curious what your input is on the stuff that I did.
Oh yeah.
We didn't get to Gus's.
What?
I didn't give Gus feedback yet.
Oh, okay.
Gus actually tried plotting their arcs, but they're drawing. This is something I've gone over with them in their. They're kind of new to draftsmanship, so like their drawing is kind of lacking in confidence.
Overall, it does look good. You see, like when the initial hammer is up in the air, his foot steps forward, which allows him to shift the weight downwards in front of him. So he steps before he slams, which is good. I would watch the placements of the back foot just so it can just so it doesn't shake too much. Because that goes to the point where a lot of anime don't show where foot placements are because foot placements are kind of hard with panning cameras and characters moving. But overall, since it's a still, you should always try to make sure the foot stays planted where on the ground where it's supposed to be. So
watch the shifting of the feet. The other thing is that I would say, okay, so Gus, watch on my stream. Actually, let me check to see what Gus's audio options are so there's no confusion.
Ooh. I will say the hammer, when he does initial lifts, not this one but the next frame, it's too straight with the way his arms are pointing. It should be bent a little bit on the next frame. If you can go to the next frame.
I'll get to it. It's like I'm just checking to see what.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, Gus has me muted, so I'm just gonna stick to the.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna maybe stick to Twitch.
Yeah, that's cool.
But let's give me one shot. Kind of lost track of where I was. So, yeah. So like, so my
I'm actually here.
Oh yeah, there you are. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing it over the. But pay attention on the Twitch feed, because then you won't get the audio delay weirdness. Okay, so
the initial lifts when the hammer first lifts up, yeah. So it seems like his hand is the hammer lifts higher than than how he's supposed to be holding it. But overall, maybe he's a lot stronger, right, to lift it up. But I would recommend that usually you can, with the way the hands are posed. Go to the next frame after that one. Oh, yeah. So then you could cheat it a bit and have the third frame, I think, third frame there to be a little bit more, a bit more than that, because you see how his hand shifts from the base of the grip to the middle. You should have it where he shifts his hand first before he kind of goes up, or you can have it go halfway up before, because it goes halfway to the halfway point, right? His arm goes halfway to the halfway point, so it seems like he's moving his hand up as he pulls it up. So, because you see how his hand shifts from the base to the center, of the grip point, and then of the weight point or whatever it is, and then it's the balance of the shift is a bit off, but overall, it looks good. Just watch the back foot placement and the hand position, because of the weight shift, and then overall everything was good, because you have him step forward and snap down. It's all good. That's all good.
Okay, thank you. That's good feedback.
I just confirmed. So some good news. I just confirmed that you can in fact import a movie file directly into Studio. So that means I can do drawover demos. So let's see here. I'm actually going to do a drawover demo now over Gus's thing. Wait.
Hold on, let me see the legs. Can I see the legs real quick? Move the animation a bit. So I'll look at it myself. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah.
I can't tell if the leg shift sides. Give me a second.
So let's see here. This thing's going to chug apparently a little bit, because it's a movie file that I unloaded in here. But let's see here. I'm going to do like a quick trace back real quick, so I get a starting point of like where the character's body is and whatnot.
Oh.
Maybe put that to red. So wait for that to be default. Red onion skinning.
Oh, okay, never mind. It looks good. Sorry, it looks good.
So let's see here. For the hammer there. Trace. I'm just doing like a quick trace back, so like I have like something in the onion skin that I can refer to. I do like how you plotted the ground plane a little bit there too. Like that's something I didn't do. I was very sloppy on that this week. I'm just getting. I just need like a quick thing in the ballpark of his proportions and stuff, so I can use it as a reference point for the rest of it. Alrighty. So, first thing, I think this pose is a little weak because, like, I think this pose can be taken out and replaced with the character leaning down, like kind of like what the Ghibli animator did with like leaning down forward. Like, first of all, keep the feet planted where they are currently.
No, actually, no. The pose is fine because people can lift things differently compared to the other.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
So then, what the pose should have done in the initial like pull, right? The initial trying to lift up, or the second frame in a sense, which should be him moving his hand, like kind of opening his palm up slightly to well, since there's no fingers, kind of moving the arm forward a bit as he pulls back, because you see how his left shoulder pulls back as much as it can, to his left side, right, and then he pulls it back, which means he could have moved his hand slightly forward to kind of to get that leverage, right, and then when he does the next pull, his hands is near the halfway point, but not at the halfway point yet, you know, and then
I see. So he could be reaching his right hand forward to move his hand more to the center of the grip.
Yeah, that is a different way to handle it.
Yeah,
for sure. And let's maybe like have him like.
I would have his arm still on the grip, still on the handle. Like but it's just stretched out. Like his shoulders dip more down compared to his other shoulder. Like his right shoulder, well, the character's right shoulder will be dipped down a bit more. Yeah, lower, and then it's still on the grip, but then you can see spacing between the hands. So yeah.
He would be kind of like rotating his torso slightly towards the camera, I think, right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. But then, I'm just trying to work with the pose. So, usually it would be lift towards the camera. He does bend his legs so he can prep for the initial lift, which is good. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to correct everything.
No, I'm trying to take a crack at it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
This is also practice for me too. But yeah, let's see here.
Yeah, and it does seem like he does drag, because in this pose, it does seem like he does kind of drag the hammer back a little bit. Like it does like kind of skid across the floor. Like, and then he then does an initial lift and so. So yeah.
Yeah, so let's drag it across the floor a little bit. In that case, so more like this.
Yeah, because the way his arms are stretched compared to so yeah.
And then
that's good.
Pose, I think this pose is actually good for it, but I would maybe adjust because he is kind of growing. He is kind of growing a bit.
Oh yeah, that's fine. No, it's fine. With the way it's kind of settling, yeah. And then there you can have for the next frame you can have you can have the hammer not be too well. You can have the hammer stay like that, but just have the arm the arm more near the center. Not near the center, not at the center of the handle. So, yeah.
Make sure we get the hammer measurement right.
Yep, that's good.
It's kind of pressed it against his pelvis a bit.
Yeah. Which is actually fine. People lift like that, right? You can use your
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good.
I am kind of bringing his head down a little bit. I think that kind of reinforces him.
Yeah.
He keeps with his volumes, and it reinforces like the weight compression on his back foot.
Definitely.
And he's looking that way.
Yep.
And then this is where we're gonna get some fun corrections. So like this one right here, I think the overall
everything else after that is actually pretty good. Everything else after that is pretty good. So
I do have some input on this, and like he's not continuing moving his body like.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But I'm not too worried about that. But overall everything else is good. But it's up to you, Spacedad.
Yeah. What I'm gonna do, let's make a little judgment call here. I'm gonna have him kind of bounce like this, and like he's like kind of like using this leg, the weight of this leg right here out in front of him a bit, lifting forward to anticipate the action and also to counterbalance the weight on his back leg. So this is the leg in front of us, and that's the back leg. So he's got his arm towards us, lower on the hammer, the arm above us, shifted up the hammer. I think the actual placement of the hammer seems okay. Moving that arm, just kind of looking at the hammer. Because like he's a little top heavy, so instead of staring at the thing he's going to hit, He's staring at the hammer because the hammer's a little unwieldy for him. Then don't know if we need. Well, yeah. Let's keep this. Let's keep this next pose.
Oh, he doesn't have to look at the hammer. He could. It's all preference on how you want the card.
Oh, definitely. That's my preference on that, though.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
This is actually pretty good. Like we can do a torso. I'm going to emphasize the torso twist now, and now we can really kind of push this.
Yeah.
Let's see how would you do like a stomp? Maybe we can anticipate that more.
It shouldn't arch too much. His arch, it shouldn't arch inward. It should always arch outwards, or at least straight 90 or oh no, it's either a should always be stepping forward, because you never really step. You never really push your knee forward. You always push your foot forward, because
Right.
your foot is the thing that's catching you. Your knee is the tension. No, was it the suspension? Right. Your knees is the suspension. You don't want to already be like tucked in when you land, because that's not good for landing. So
No.
yeah.
Yeah, like
So that's good.
The leg should shoot out. And
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
let me actually try acting that out. Feels.
Yeah. Like imagine going knee first when you're
So,
landing.
would be
That's not
so
good.
from what I just did now, it would be slightly bent, but there would be like more of a sense of like kind of like blasting the ground with his foot, kind of, and his. So he's got. So that arm is. What was he doing on the previous frame of that arm? The hand is actually going to be further down. It's going to maybe be foreshortened a bit. And then bam, let's switch the hammer. Or the peg, either or. Or you can make it more realistic and not have that squish. And I'm gonna really push that. He straightens out his back leg because he's really leaned forward.
Yeah.
And this is the point where he kind of uses the fulcrum of the hammer to slide his hands down length.
Yeah. And sometimes you do want to watch the length of the actual handle, because you don't want to like shorten the handle, or resizing is one of the biggest issues in animation, especially 2D.
Mm-hmm. So the length is going to be about it's about right. It goes about to there. Straighten him a bit. Straighten out that leg a bit more. Now let's pretend that we have the hat on. Pop off his hat. Like the Ghibli Dust hat, just for fun. Let's see how that little super crude, rough, loose, just playing with it looks. Let me adjust the timing here. Off this layer, maybe it'll smooth the animation. I think we can raise the foot up more. That and like the foot slap down can be more like this. In fact, I think we can push the... We raise the hammer up here, it can be like pushed even more, like really up there. I think maybe this frame should be extended more a bit. Like 1, 2, 3. It's a little awkward on that back leg. Maybe I want to say shift him kind of this a bit, straightened. And there's some stuff happening with the back leg I don't like. I feel like there could be more up and down to the body. So how I did, like, he has like more of a dip here. And then like here he's up more, but coming forward. Buttocks is up more maybe. There we go. So was it Gus demo? Yeah, I'm gonna upload what I got so far. There's like more I would want to do to play with that, but we're gonna move on to somebody else. Here.
Guys, this has been very helpful for the when I redo it for next week.
Yeah. I might actually play with it some more later myself. This is also practice for me to do demos like these. Yeah, in the GIF form, it is definitely reading stronger to me. There's more stuff I personally would want to do with it. But the biggest difference is like the stuff that Maxi suggested, which is like the shift of the hand grip. Definitely does make a difference.
Yep. It's essentially all the points in the article. The article tells all the points anyway. So.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think we should keep doing this. This is a really worthwhile test. Like, it's like deceptively simple, and it covers like really important things that is like hard mode animation stuff to pay attention to. So, and like anyone who participated in the test this week, if you submitted this week, try to revise your test. Maybe do a new version of the test, or in addition to like whatever you think you can improve from the notes you got. But you don't have to do that for the homework. The main homework, but no, actually no, I would say you have to do that. If you got feedback this week, that's your main homework. Revise or redo a test based on the feedback you got. That's your main #1 homework, because revising your animation using feedback is an essential core skill to being a good animator, especially working in the industry or working collaboratively with other people and improving your skills in general. Like, you want to learn to analyze the feedback you get and utilize the feedback you get, because that is what's going to help you become a better animator faster. And not only that, I would encourage people who are starting to wrap their heads around some of the stuff, even if you're pretty new at this, if you have some ideas or suggestions that you're seeing that you can give somebody, I strongly encourage people to give each other feedback. even if you're pretty inexperienced, if you think you see something, you can help someone on. If you see something that you might want to suggest. I have a couple sections for that. In art and animation, you can submit stuff on your homework stuff for feedback, and also just stuff that isn't specific to the homework. In the actual homework posting section, where there's the homework section, you are more than free to give each other feedback here as well. So this section, both of those sections are good for feedback, but this one is just focused on the homework that we do each week. The other section is open to anyone, including the homework, basically, in my personal Discord. Do we use reference for this hammer test? Not really. You can shoot your own reference potentially, but I mean, like, the parameters of the test, if you want to do it for this week's homework, is this article from Kotaku called "Becoming a Japanese Animator is Hard," and it goes over the parameters of the Toei hammer pose test, and what the instructions are. This is starting from this pose, draw 5 or 6, like, basically key poses that end with him hitting the stake. Please draw the character without changing the size. That means maintain the same volumes. Like, you can exaggerate stuff a little bit, but it mostly has to stay in the ballpark of volumes. And if you want to see an example of how the test is done, you can watch this video down here of a master animator from Toei and Studio Ghibli showing it off. And this is like one particular way to do it. You don't have to do his method, but I would maybe like analyze it a bit to see what he did and try to understand it a bit. We talked a little bit about what he did in today's class, and we did last week too. And the video of that is up on my YouTube from last week's Saturday animation class. This one will also be on there too. So yeah. So let's add that to the homework assignments section right now. Saturday animation class for 12/12/2020 due next Saturday is 12/19/20. If you got feedback this week, utilize the feedback you got to make fixes to your test from this week. 2. Redo. Two is take some live action reference.
Oh, sorry to cut this short. Spacedad, but I gotta head out. Thanks for class.
We're about ready to wrap it too pretty soon. Yeah. So take some live action.
You guys all take care, and listen to the dad.
Maxi, let's try to this week. Let's try to spitball something special for next week. Like I want.
Definitely.
I think after people get warmed up a little bit with this stuff, we can start kind of. We'll spitball something, but we'll do stuff that's moving kind of in the direction of like the tools and mechanics that will be useful for like Sakuga animation or just action animation stuff in general.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So today, I think either today or tomorrow, I'll try to do my version of this hammer test because I've been way too busy. But since it's a weekend, I'll start.
Well, number three is do the original assignment, which is up here for the hammer test. Do the hammer test again. So yeah, that's more homework for this week. It's fine.
Sounds good.
I think that like maybe a pseudo bi-weekly model where we have a critique and feedback and we're a little bit more forgiving on that, might be good. Like a particular subject will be focused on for like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks at a time, or something.
Yeah.
Like that might be pretty good. That gives people plenty of time to kind of meditate the idea, try to fit time in to animate it, and so on.
Yep. Sounds good.
So yeah. All right. Thank you for.
All right, you guys all take care. See you guys out there, animators.
Yeah. You. All right. So let's see here. Such as from. Let's see. Stunt. What was that section I made? Oh, reference. It was like a reference. Animation action reference. And from animation action reference section. Shit. I just realized. Okay, so animation reference. That's kind of redundant channels right now. But no one's posted animation reference, so I'm going to animation reference hunters. There we go. And I'll just delete the original. So now we got an animation reference hunters section right here. That is where the stuff's gonna go. But let's see, where should I put this? Be going under animation general. I'm thinking I should maybe separate these sections so animation and art is a little bit more apparent. But those links aren't going to be in there. And so the homework assignment section, so you take some animation reference centers. Reference centers. And do a draw over rotoscope study action, breaking it down into a few key poses to provide through clear, confidently drawn key poses to describe the action as possible. Then take that and use it as your reference point, as your reference study point to utilize in making a character animation. That's 2. 3. You can redo last week's boy with hammer, or do it if you yet. Beginners are also welcome to keep trying the bouncing. There we go. I think that's a good solid amount of Homer. What do you guys think? Yeah. There we go. So the other thing is that I'm gonna make some people aware of a few developments with the Discord. First off, we're meeting up again tomorrow, Sunday, for our Blender Day. We'll be meeting in my Discord. We'll be doing it in the drawing corner on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Tomorrow. We will be going over some of D-Doze's tutorials on using Blender Grease Pencil. So I want to show you some of the awesome stuff that this guy has made. Fucking rad artist. Who's like one of the flagship Blender dudes. Good, I can follow him on my main account again. He's doing a lot of like cartoon illustrations that are drawn 3D in Blender, and he has tutorials on how to do this stuff, and also how to animate using this. So tomorrow, Sunday, we are going to do that some. We're gonna we're gonna get more news tutorials, kind of figure out how to better utilize the Blender grease pencil, and for animation and stuff. So we can make our own little rad things like this too. Also, I wanted to show this off. Check this out. This is a thing called Looking Glass, which is a holographic display. That there's a high-end version that's like an 8K one, but this one's like a lower-end version. It's like only $200. It's like a portrait thing for like displaying like 3D portraits or like 3D faces of people and stuff over like. Believe it or not, there's like depth sensors in smartphones, in modern smartphones. So like if you take a photo of someone's face, you can turn it to a 3D photo, or if you stream it over a webcam, smartphone webcam, you can get a 3D image of someone's face through a holo display. And yeah, and there's a so Andy is making like basically like 3D postcard art, basically a 3D animation art using this little thing. It's pretty rad, and that's something that if I had the money for one of these, I would love to play with a dev kit for. But yeah, why is he muted? Oh, like something. I think like I think there's something that when I'm scrolling down sometimes automatically mutes. Here, but yeah, we'll be taking a look at that. We will also be taking another look again at the Blender storyboard. This guy, the Spitfire storyboards guy, he's got some additional tools we'll touch on a little bit too. It's neat. How to create 3D. Oh, I haven't seen this tutorial. I'll do a watch later on that. There's a bunch of really good tutorials on grease pencil right now. Check out. But anyway, tomorrow, Sunday, we'll be doing that at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. In my Discord, it's not gonna be on Twitch. Another few things is I would like I'm like this Discord. I only started this last week. I'm starting to kind of get my grips on like how to run the community and how to build a community through this. So I would love and appreciate it if you see the Discord suggestions right here under my main chat. I have a bunch of stuff here that I'm asking questions people on channel growth, how to make people, how to like keep people more engaged here. I would love your guys' feedback on my classes, feedback and suggestions on my classes and how to improve them. What you think might be not so good, what you think is better, and what you respond to, what kind of content you prefer, and how I can make things more fun here so that like you guys keep coming back and checking out the channel and so on. Like what kind of stuff you'd like to support and so on. But yeah, like any kind of feedback and stuff, like I would really appreciate some feedback and suggestions with the stream for that. And cool. Also, next week we will also be doing I have my class schedule here with some kind of homework periods. The homework periods are kind of optional. Sometimes we meet up, sometimes they don't. But Tuesday, Thursday homework periods and stuff for like people to. It's just basically a hangout period for people to hang out and chill. Things got a little bit disrupted this week because Cyberpunk 2077 dropped. I'm going to be actually playing that some after the stream. So if you want to follow my schedule calendar, you can go to my Google Calendar here, and you'll get like notification pings on your smartphone or whatever when our class is starting. So we still got 23 people left here, so let's maybe raid another channel. Let's grab another channel to raid. See who's active right now that we can throw 23 viewers at. Donkey is actually streaming right now. I don't think his 3K viewers are going to care too much about another 23 people, though. Let's find a smaller art streamer that's someone who might kind of know, or someone who I admire or something. Let's see who's active. Ooh, Doig and Swift are active. Yeah, let's do them. Yeah, I'm gonna have you guys raid them. So yeah, everyone get ready. We're going to raid Doig and Swift, some rad animation director pals of mine, extremely talented wife and husband combo, Ireland. They are super talented. They're affiliated with a lot of really cool productions and people and stuff, and you can learn a lot from them. They're very, very open about answering questions, and they also have their own kind of weekly animation challenge thing that I'm gonna kind of look into, maybe kind of getting people from my community involved adjacently with, but I haven't really figured out how I'm gonna integrate that just yet. So I'm kind of trying to figure out things on my own terms at the moment. But we're gonna raid them right now. So stay on board, go ahead, folks. I'm gonna do the raid. Everyone get on board. Everyone get on board. Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. I'm hoping to get feedback and stuff on running my classes better, and in the future I want to like start doing some fun game streams or some fun like draw together streams and stuff. So I'm hoping to grow my channel in the future. Like I want to make this a place that people would love to support and keep coming back to. And my New Year's resolution for this year is to increase my audience, my support on the channel, in addition to a lot of other stuff like my daily hand page, which I still need to do today. Still need to do my daily hand drawing page for the Wednesday class. So it looks like we got everyone ready to go for the raid. Thank you again all for coming. I'm going to raid Dorgan Swift right now. If you're in the Discord voice, stay in the Discord voice because we can talk. I can talk to you guys a little bit about them, the people who we are raiding right now. And yeah, thank you all for coming. Replay of the today's class. If you need to review your feedback again. But if I didn't get you into feedback, please either DM me or ping me in my personal Discord. And it looks like we're auto rating in about 10 seconds. So we'll see you over in Dorgan Swift's channel, folks.